Let's talk about something that's happening in a particular political party. Well, faction of the People's Democratic Party, loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has nominated members of a transitional National Caretaker Committee ahead of its upcoming National Convention. Now, this was at the 104th National Executive Committee meeting of the factional party of the PDP, where they criticized a parallel faction for what they term continuous disregard to court's judgment prior to their convention, which held at Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. They also condemned the expulsion of several members of the PDP, including the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, saying that they will not be given any opportunity to chase founding members of the PDP out of the party, even though certificates were equally shared physically, maybe sent, and then also put there online. But let's take a look at this report. We'll be right back to talk about it.
It was the 104th National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party. In attendance were party executives called from the 36 states of the country, including the Federal Capital Territory. Party leaders admit the crisis in the PDP, but insist those perpetrating the crisis will not be allowed free rein to go about their actions.
The past weeks have been defining moments in the history of our party. The PDP has once again been confronted with challenges that test our internal cohesion, our commitment to constitutional order, and our collective resolve to remain a credible national platform for democratic governance.
It is important to address the unfortunate and disgraceful action of Mr. Kabiru Tanimu Turaki-led, who lead higher talks to disrupt the 103rd NEC meeting, damage party properties, and assault members of both BOT and the NEC members. His conduct was primitive, reckless, and wholly unbecoming of any party member.
The Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, criticized the faction of the party led by Tanimu Turaki for violating several court judgments, describing the action as irresponsible. He condemned their recent action regarding the expulsion of several members, including himself, saying that no one will chase them out of the party.
From 1998, when the party was formed, I was the author of the marriage. Muhammad Mohammed was the senator under APP. He came to be a minister because of doctrine of necessity. Shema Kendra, my younger brother, he was an FTP. And then when he came to the money, how can those who met me in my house who met me in my house do not drive me out? I will never.
The party elected a transitional National Caretaker Committee, as recommended by its Board of Trustees, pending the conduct of its national elections at a proposed date in the future. In Abuja for News Central, I am Andrew Enantomhen.
Well-rounded, well-covered by our Abuja Chief Bureau, Andrew Enantomhen. But joining us for this conversation, we do have PDP members. Andrew Enantomhen joins us, and Mark Jacob, former National Legal Advisor as well of the PDP, joins us this morning to have this conversation. So I'd like to say welcome, distinguished gentlemen. Thank you for being here. How do you feel now that you know that you have another convention approaching? Are you excited? Are you happy? Is this something you're looking forward to? And what does this mean legally? Because we just saw a convention that was held just a few weeks ago, and then this is another one. I'm going to start with you first, Mr. Andrew. Please go ahead and share your thoughts.
So much. Good morning, Nigerians, and good morning, viewers. I think this is the moment that the People's Democratic Party have long been waiting for. You could understand that the People's Democratic Party is a party that is built on law, that is built on regulation and constitutionality. We respect the rule of law, we respect constitutionality. We don't toy with that. A party that is built on constitutionality will always do everything within its reach to ensure that it is governed by the rule of law. you have to understand that you cannot be against law or constitutionality and expect the law to people. It doesn't work that way. Now you can see calmness are returned back to PDP. There's peace of mind. There's peace right now in PDP. People are coming back home for the fact that we did what is right by ensuring that we exhaust the time of the last end of the UC. Then inaugurate the Caretaker Committee and give them 60 days notice so that they can prepare for the convention effectively well. So that everybody, because we don't want to be caught unaware in a situation where, okay, you went to do a kangaroo, we don't call it convention, it's a get-together party in Ibadan. Now you look at what the INEC, we look at what the State High Court said yesterday in York. It said that INEC have been delisted from the plenty to being part of the suit. So you can see peace is beginning to return home. Most of the people that were in that get-together they did in Ibadan yesterday, a few weeks ago, they were in the NEC meeting that was held, the 104 NEC meeting that was held, because that's the property to be done. Now, after the 104 NEC meeting was, since the time have elapsed, Caretaker Committee have been set up that is going to properly transmit the 21 days notice to INEC in preparation for the authentic convention. Because if you don't do what, see, one thing I keep on telling people, when it comes to law and constitutionality, forget about emotions. I am a full stakeholder of the People's Democratic Party. I'm a senior staff. I'm an in-house person. I know what is right. So many things are at play. You know the problem we have with PDP. People come out here, they come to deceive Nigeria, they come to deceive the gullible followers. But we that are in-house, we know what is going on. We're just being, you know why most of them are angry with some of us? Because they understand that we refuse to play to their gallery. That is the truth. Let's remove emotion. Because you don't like weekend in the morning, but in the night you come to weekend and meet weekend in the night. You don't like Ayahu in the morning, in the night you come to meet Ayahu in the night. These are the deceits that is angry some of us that have reputations and need to protect.
Sorry, who's coming? Sorry, you said, Mr. Andrew, you said somebody's coming to meet somebody at now. Who is this person?
No, I don't need to mention name now. This is politics. You have to understand the way this game is being played.
So are you saying the other faction are coming back just like the man met Jesus at night to discuss, not wanting people to see him? Is it?
If you look at what Ayahu said in that last NEC meeting, he said, look, as far as People's Democratic Party is concerned, as far now this one for NEC meeting has been successfully held, letter will be transmitted to INEC officially for giving them 21 days notice. Then definitely everybody can return home. Their sins have been forgiven, no matter what. This is only few people cannot become member of the People's Democratic Party. We need everybody. That's why it is called People's Democratic. The party belongs to the people. That's why there is an open door. No matter what they've done. In fact, I'm telling you, if you watch those videos closely, there were some key stakeholders in that Ibadan gathering they did that came for the NEC meeting because they understand that, look, it's a normal thing in politics. There must be division, there must be issue, there must be quarrel. But now that we are trying to follow constitutionality and what is right, of course, we have to reconcile everybody. We wouldn't say because, okay, you people abused us, or you abuse this, you abuse that, you go to Ibadan to go and do what is right, they will not chase you away. You know, it's not done anyway. Every crowd, everybody must be carried along. So that's the what is right needed to be done. That's the essence of this Caretaker Committee that will prepare for the convention effectively well. And everybody will be carried along. Everybody. In that NEC meeting, there were governors that were seated inside the house that you are not aware. They just didn't come outside. I'm beginning to, although I've been in this system for decades, but every day by the many things are becoming real and becoming new to me. So you're going to see what will play out in the coming days. You know, it's becoming more interesting to Nigerians, and this is the way it should be done. And this is what our elders actually.
Let's bring in.
You remember vividly when the Reconciliation Committee recommended.
Let's bring in the former Mr. Enantomhen. Let's bring in the former National Legal Advisor for the People's Democratic Party. You've had you've heard Mr. Enantomhen speak about this and share a very, very detailed perspective. But let's find out if you share the same sentiments, especially because what we saw earlier was that there was a convention that was held, amidst multiple court judgments for and against the holding of that convention. So, Mr. Mark Jacob, what are your thoughts regarding the latest updates within the PDP?
Very much for this opportunity to participate in this discussion. Let me start by saying that it's a pity that the party is being taken for a ride by a handful of people who congregate in a room and claim to be taking decisions on behalf of the party. It is shocking that anybody can say that that group of people that you can count them, they are not up to 30. It is shocking that anybody will say that that was a NEC meeting. I am a member of NEC, and NEC is statutorily composed. It is not appointed. Nobody appoints NEC members. You are either a former president, a former governor, or a sitting governor. You are either a senator or a principal officer of the Senate or the House of Reps. You are either a speaker or a principal member of the House of Assembly under the party, or a former National Working Committee member or a BOT member. So nobody appoints NEC members. I saw in that short clip people who are not members of NEC sitting down to say they are holding a NEC meeting. If there was a NEC meeting in a room in Abuja, when we do NEC meetings, you can't do NEC meeting in a room because it will contain the numbers. We normally do it in a big hall that will contain the number of people. For instance, former NWC members alone are over 40. So and that is just one component of the members of NEC. The members of the Board of Trustees are more than 200, and they are members of NEC. The members of the National Assembly, members of the House of Assembly under the party are members of NEC. This meeting you are showing on your screen is a composition of people who are not at all statutorily part of NEC of the PDP. And let me say very clearly that there is no faction in the PDP. You have a handful of people that disagree with the majority. Yes, it is allowed for them to disagree, but they cannot have their way. I feel sad that people who ought to know and who are supposed to be decent in their approach and in inventing their grievances are engaging in self-help. If you are very confident of the cases you filed in court, go back to the court. If someone is in contempt of any court order, it is not your position to come and find him guilty of contempt and take steps to correct him. Go back to that court and declare before the court that there is contempt. The orders of the court were not obeyed. And let the court decide and give sanctions. It is not for any of the parties to engage in self-help. Now, when it comes to issues of caretaker committee or whatever committee, who is constituting a caretaker committee for PDP? It cannot be a composition of 4 out of 21 people whose tenure has lapsed, coming together with other people who are selected by a sitting minister in the government to hold a meeting in the boardroom of the FCT and take decisions and appoint themselves as members of NEC and or BOT members and even a BOT chairman. Besides the man who read the speech as chairman of BOT, how many other members of BOT were in that meeting? They will not spell out. And I think this is what the journalists should now engage in. When you say you are speaking on behalf of BOT, can you give us the names of the members of BOT that were in attendance? Like I said, the statutory members of BOT and NEC that we know are more than 200. How dare you go and sit down in a room, 15 or 20 of you, and say you are talking on behalf of NEC? We are statutory members of NEC. You cannot exclude us from a discussion. And you want to present it as our decision, discussion. It's not correct. And the journalists should insist, let's see the names of those you have presented as having attended the meeting. Let nobody be camouflaging under the camera to just use generalized terms. BOT, who's BOT? Do people know the composition of BOT? Former presidents under the party? Former principal officers of the National Assembly? Look at those faces. Is any of these people a member of BOT? Any of these people, has he ever been a member of BOT? So you cannot usurp the functions of existing organs of the party. Wike is not a member of BOT. So in what capacity was he chairing the meeting and even making statements? So this joke should stop. This kind of trivializing politics in Nigeria must stop. And I don't blame them, because our process of recruiting party or leaders under the political party has been bastardized. When I hear people screaming that they were the people sustaining the party, I wonder, we were in PDP before some of them became anything. And I can say with every sense of responsibility, I was National Legal Advisor 2007. Where was Wike? Wike was a local government chairman. He was not even qualified to attend INEC meetings of the party. How dare he begin to tell us that he owns PDP and that whatever he says must be done? How? On what basis? And if he says he financed or he funded things, other people funded him, for God's sake. He was local government chairman because somebody made him a candidate. He was a commissioner or the chief of staff or something like that because somebody appointed him. He became minister because somebody under the PDP appointed him. So when people talk as if they just grew up from nowhere, they became something, the party is rubbishing has made him what he is. For God's sake, let him spare us these dirty details.
Thank you Thank you so much, Mr. Mark Jacob.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mark Jacob. I'd like to bring in Mr. Enantomhen into the conversation. You did hear the former National Legal Advisor of the People's Democratic Party faulting the composition of that meeting that took place yesterday, that those that sat there don't even have the numbers to make up the BOT and the National Executive Committee of your party. So any decision that was made at that meeting yesterday is null and void. How do you respond to some of the issues you raised and what I just mentioned?
From NLS, he wasn't there. He was not there. You know, I was there live. I was in Ibadan as well. You know, so I've been. You know, I'm always I'm facing the media space, and I don't come on air to to discuss a situation I don't have a concrete background of, or that I'm not fully.
But can you address some of the issues he raised?
Yes, that's what I'm addressing. Now, you said people that were there are not core members, apart from the BOT chairman. I'm happy I acknowledge the presence of the BOT chairman that was there, which is Mao, because the previous BOT, they are still not have elapsed, so we have a new BOT now. This present picture you're showing, this is when they were doing the inauguration, as in trying to do the composition of the Caretaker Committee. Your media houses were present during the BOT meeting, because the BOT meeting started by 2 and elapsed by 24 or 5 before the NEC commences their meeting. So he's saying that the persons that were there are not all members of BOT. So you can't expect the BOT secretary to be begging them. When you're a member of the BOT and there's an announcement that there's going to be a BOT meeting, you are expected to be there. The former NS should have been present in that meeting because it was an open meeting for the BOT members and for NEC. So him not being there, I don't think anybody should be blamed, because he would have been there. I believe if he was there, he would have been more convinced than. Because I see this one thing I always want people to understand. Like, if you have issues and grievances with the party, I think it's always important you get yourself involved in the meetings of the party, or print of the party, so that you can resolve those issues amicably. You share your thoughts and opinions with different group or different organs. Okay, why not let's do it this week? You remember when we had issues? I always watch him on air, and his analysis most times always, I feel, is one-sided to some extent. Because I remember there was one interview on NLS. Granted, he seems to be very, very much sympathetic to the Makinde fashion, which there's nothing wrong with that. But there was a question that was thrown at him, that the Makinde you are sympathetic to, that you're working for, allegedly, because you're sympathetic to his fashion, Makinde was a full member of G5. He was, in fact, he was the leader of G5 underground because he was from the Yoruba faction. So he was practically the one championing the G5, giving the directive of what to do. How come Makinde is not the one that is a saint? He dodged that question. I remember they asked him that question, whether on channels or on your station or around, I can't remember the video. So these are the things we're talking about. There is really no cause for alarm. There is no need to argue too much. He is a lawyer and he understands perfectly well. That's why sometimes it baffles us that legal luminaries, the people that should know better, are the ones trying to put emotions to replace the law. It doesn't work that way. If let there be 1 million people on the side of one person and the law is on the side of another person, the person that the law is on the side, the person will win. There is no emotion, there is no sentiment. When it comes to issue of legality, when it comes to issue of constitutionality, the law will come to stay. Now, we talked about the case being in court. Of course, it's in court. We're waiting for the appeal court. But the party cannot be stand still. The party cannot be stranded. If you look at the proceedings of the last 104 NEC meeting that was held, it was clearly stated that this caretaker committee, within these 60 days, they should ensure that the remaining congresses are held properly. Of course, the Southeast already had their zonal Southeast stakeholders meeting and they've inaugurated their exco. So the Southeast zonal excos have been concluded. So the part of the mandate that was given to this caretaker committee within 60 days to ensure that all the congresses that have not been held in the various states, to ensure that all the congresses are held, to ensure that reconciliation is properly adhered to, carry everybody along. Even the people that are going to Ibadan should be carried along if they so wish. Of course, National Secretary have already said the floor is open for everybody. Their sins have been forgiven. Let them come home. Let us build this party together so that we can conveniently tell the IG that, oh, we've reconciled our differences. And the court have given judgment. Okay, let the party criteria be open so that operations can commence. You understand? So, but being that as is made, the party cannot be left stranded. The party must move on. That was the essence of the 104 NEC meeting, setting up the caretaker committee to run the affairs of the party for the next 60 days, depending on when we conduct the legally accepted convention that INEC and every other faction will recognize. That was just the essence. So it's nothing, there's no sentiment, there's no story about it. If you are not doing the right thing,
okay,
there's no emotions. It's not nobody's fault. Nobody should be blamed. The meeting, BOT meeting was properly constituted. You are fully aware that the last BOT, their tenure have expired, have elapsed. So a new BOT have been set up since, and they've been inaugurated. They have been in operation, and they've been very effective. And the party cannot dispute that. Even the Turaki-led faction, they know that the Mao-led administration is the BOT organ of the party right now. So that's why if you notice, they are not even faulting the BOT. They know there's a BOT in operation. There is a caretaker committee in operation. So there is no need to argue. We are one big family. PDP is one family, body. Now look at what Osun State is passing through. Are you happy about it? Nobody's happy about it. This is just because of ego of some people. If they had allowed what is right to be done, Adeleke will not be stranded, right? Adeleke is practically stranded. So are they happy about it? That's the question that we should ask.
All right, Mr. Enantomhen, sorry, I just need to cut in. But are you fine with what we see, where you have your party members who are also supporting the current party, APC? What does that do for your party? Is that a positive thing? And do you think that will all go well with the other members of the party? Because if you say they should come together, they are saying that it doesn't make sense, because you cannot say you're a member of the same party, but you're working for an incumbent party. So hence why they want to be on their own. I'd like you to answer that very briefly so that we can give more time as well to Mr. Jacob. Go on.
And government of national unity is being held. When Jonathan was there, he picked people from other political party, NGO, and the rest of them to ensure the reform is government. So supporting the government of national unity for the purpose and the advancement of the country is not a big deal. After all, the Turaki went to visit the Niger State governor and APC governor. What do you say to that? Turaki have been visiting all the APC leaders on the ground. What do you say to that? So let's not be sentimental about this.
Mr. Andrew.
You call yourself the Makinde National Chairman, but you want to go and visit an APC governor.
Okay.
So you want to go and play loyalty to an APC governor.
Okay, all right.
State.
Okay, Mr. Andrew. So, okay, Mr. Enantomhen. So in summation, nothing is wrong. All right, let's give the floor to Mr. Jacob, so he can go ahead and share his thoughts on or react to some of the things you've said. You can go ahead, sir. Mr. Andrew, please just hold on. All right, go ahead, sir.
First of all, I would prefer to talk law, not rambling and jumping over issues. Look, Article 31 of the PDP Constitution spells out who is a member of NEC. And for me, any discussion, anybody talking about NEC meeting must show that those who attended that meeting in Wike's conference room are the statutory members mentioned in Article 31 of the PDP Constitution. Otherwise, it was just a jamboree. That is why you see those who covered the meeting keep concentrating on the high table, where you have just a handful of people, and then they black out the other people. Now, secondly, BOT. Nobody convenes BOT. BOT have their own mode of convening meetings. It is not done by a minister. No matter his status, no matter his influence, a minister cannot convene BOT meeting. They have their chairman, and the chairman of the BOT today is Chief Adolphus Wabara, former Senate President. These are not people that you toy with. You call them and give them tasks and tell them to sit down while you talk. If there was a BOT meeting, we shall see Adolphus Wabara. If he doesn't know, he should ask questions. And people should ask questions. There is no offense, no crime in trying to know. We are not saying that people don't have the freedom to disagree. Look, we have 36 states in this country, with Abuja 37. The entire chairman of the party, 35 of them have held a meeting and endorsed the Turaki-led leadership. They were there in Ibadan. I participated in the accreditation process. I know that Sokoto State and Jigawa State were the states that absented themselves from the meeting in Ibadan. So, principally, you have majority of the state chairmen and their members attending the convention, exercising their rights, and taking decisions. The BOT has not expired. It is a fat lie. The BOT is functioning, and they know it. So, and no minister is qualified to invite them to his office. Because some of them have been ministers before this young man became anything. He can't command them, he can't direct them, he can't model up with them. And he knows. That is reading speeches written for him. He is not a member of BOT. So how can Wike appoint him as a chairman of BOT and he will agree? He's not a member of BOT, ab initio. So he cannot even ascend to the position of chairmanship. So the truth is, we have 4 or 5 people disagreeing with the PDP leadership. It is their constitutional right to disagree, but they are not a faction. They do not operate outside Abuja. Go to all the states. There is no faction in any of the states of the PDP. Let them move out of. Let's see them do things in other parts of the country. They don't exist. There is no factional party office in my state, for instance. There is no factional party office in Plateau, in Kwara, in Niger. There is no factional party office. The only place we have a problem is in Abuja, where a sitting FCT minister is using the powers donated to him by the federal government to disturb our operations. But this is not going to be for long. We shall overcome him. And we know that the law abhors a vacuum. And that is why we held an election where the current or the former NWC was dissolved by the convention, the highest decision-making body of the party. The convention took a decision and dissolved that National Working Committee where Anyao and 3 others belonged. That convention dissolved them and immediately swore in Kabiru Turaki so that there will be no vacuum at the expiration of the tenure of the then existing NWC. That tenure expires today. And so Turaki became functional from the convention. And like I said, that is the highest decision-making body of any political party. In fact, that convention can set aside even the constitution and take decisions, and they will be binding on all members of the party. And as I sit here, nobody has challenged the veracity and legitimacy of the constitution. Nobody has also challenged the sacking, the expulsion of people. They are not going to court. Rather, they are engaging in self-help, taking the law into their hands. You went to court to ask for certain reliefs. You wanted to have orders allowing you to set up a caretaker committee. The court said no. You will be heard on the 14th. You have disobeyed that court. Everybody was ordered to remain in the position. The status quo was supposed to be maintained. You have run ahead of the court to go and appoint a so-called caretaker committee. And you want to talk about law. Which law allows you to overreach the court? When the court has said maintain status quo, you ignore the order and go ahead and implement your own orders. And you still want to talk law. Which law are you talking about?
But what if the argument there is, I mean, there were 2 court orders. There was the court order in Abuja, and then there was the court order in Oyo State as well that gave them the go-ahead.
Yes. And that is the problem in Nigeria. When you have orders from courts of coordinate jurisdiction, a party or an individual who is confronted with 2 orders from the same court or from the courts of coordinate jurisdiction is left to confuse himself or to choose which one to obey. And he will be right. If there are orders, in fact, the party who has the order to proceed with what he wants to do will be correct to proceed because there is a valid court order authorizing him to proceed. Particularly again, when you look at existing superior decisions of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, if the decisions of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court support the position of the court that says proceed, you'll be right, you'll be correct to proceed. And I guess that is what they did in Ibadan. When the High Court said proceed, they checked the decisions of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court and realized that the Supreme Court has continuously said that party issues, party meetings, party decisions as to administration are entirely the internal affairs of the political party and that courts should not interfere. When it comes to selection of leaders, when it comes to discipline of members of the political party, when it comes to membership, who is a member of the political party, the courts have consistently held that these are the internal domestic affairs of political parties and that the courts have no jurisdiction to interfere. So when a high court jumps into the fray and begins to make orders in respect of such issues, the courts are overstretching their jurisdiction. Those courts know very well that they are issuing orders that cannot be obeyed and that cannot be upheld. I'm happy anyway that the issues are going to be ventilated in the superior courts where these decisions exist. And we shall get there very soon. So we are not in any way preventing people from disagreeing with the decision of the majority. It is their constitutional right to disagree. But a situation where they will say that because they didn't have their way, everything must collapse, it's absurd and it's unknown in democratic tenets.
Okay.
You cannot say that because you lost the argument or you lost to the majority, everything must collapse. And that is what Wike and his gang are doing. That because 4 of them who were members of the NWC could not convince 15 others to agree with them that everything must collapse. That is not democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Democracy, that people must have their say but the majority will have their way. And that is what is playing out. A situation where a sitting minister will be working to say that the PDP should not present a candidate for election in 2027 simply because he's enjoying being a minister must not be allowed to happen. You cannot dictate that, and no political party should accept that kind of dictation. That you tell us, members of the PDP, that we should agree that we will not present a presidential candidate in 2027. That is the only condition you have for peace.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mark Jacob. I would like to bring in Mr. Enantomhen back into the conversation. Now, Mr. Enantomhen, next year is a penultimate year to general elections, and all other opposition parties are they have started preparations for 2027. Every other day, the PDP seems to be hemorrhaging members. Just earlier this week, we saw the defection of Rivers State House of Assembly members, 17 of them, to the ruling APC. What is the way forward, and how do you think the People's Democratic Party will resolve this present crisis, in your opinion?
What we want in PDP is peace, reconciliation, harmony, unity, because that's what PDP is known for. But first thing, let me just take it little by little. Adolfo Swabara, first of all, have been expelled from the party at the world level and at the state level. You know vividly well, the same Adolfo Swabara that former NLS is talking about went to endorse Labour Party candidate in Abia State. Adolfo Swabara is the member of Labour Party candidate because he has endorsed Alex Otti. So that is the person you are calling a BOT member. Somebody that openly came out and said, in Abia State, this is the person that we're going to endorse. So definitely in Abia State, a so-called member of BOT doesn't have a candidate in Abia State, and he called himself a so-called member of BOT chairman. These are men that have never won they don't even win election. But they just, we know, of course, the transactional leader that trades with PDP has never won election in Lagos State, not even a councillor in Lagos State. So most time we don't take all these old men sometimes serious. We just respect them because they have the wisdom of the elders cannot be overemphasized. So that's why we just give it to them. But you cannot say because you are an elder, you will not to take the young generation for granted. It's not fair. I have traveled, you know me very well. I have traveled around the 36 states more than 3-4 different times with the PDP convoy. Because all we want, because we understand the strength, the weight, and the power of this party, and the love we have for this party. So we put our life on the line. We don't even stay in the AC or stay in the office. We move around every nook and cranny of this state. 2027 is still coming. We're still going to travel around the whole federation. Every ward, every unit. There's no state I've not been to in this country canvassing for PDP, preaching the gospel of PDP. So one man cannot stay in Abia State and endorse a Labour Party candidate, and he's having the guts to tell me that he's a PDP a BOT member. It's not done that way. We are not kids now. Let's not take ourselves for granted. This is not fair. Now you're talking about Wike having his own people. Now what I'm making it as single-handedly appoint. You come to my region to appoint. I'm a leader in my region. This is Paul you're talking about. You come to my region to appoint members for me in my own zone where I'm sponsoring. You don't spend money in my zone. You don't spend money in my region. Then you left southwest. You come to my own zone to come and appoint my own leaders for me. It's not done anywhere. You can expect me to fold hand and you are putting sand in my eye. You said I should not talk. Do you know what these guys are doing? You cut my hand. I said it's paining me. You said no, it's not paining you. You say I'm bleeding. You call the second one. I said please stop now. You say you don't have the right to talk. Keep quiet. Obey whatever I say. You are saying I'm protecting my 2 legs. Why you doctor? You are protecting my 2 hands. You are protecting my 2 legs. You said I should run. That's exactly what you do. What these guys are trying to do. You can't ambush me to the wall and you expect me not to fight back. What are you talking about? That one governor sit down somewhere and is able to muzzle some certain group of people and use to influence other people because he's a sitting governor. These guys have questions to answer when they're out of office. They should understand they have few months to wait. They will soon become former. Then all the atrocities they've done will bring them to the table because these are the people that have actually destroyed this party. And it's quite unfortunate that, you know, when poverty has been weaponized, that's the way you see it. That one man can sit down somewhere and influence so many people because he's a sitting governor. No, that is not done. That will not be acceptable by we, the young people of this party. We cannot allow them to destroy it because their time is already getting lashed out of the seat of power. So we must take this party back in our hands. Back to the question that you said. Okay, let me finish. So
because of lack of time, I would appreciate if you go straight to the question on how to resolve this crisis and the way forward.
The only way we can resolve this party is these guys should come down from their high horses. The likes of Allah Mohammed that are doing everything possible because they want to retain, they want to set the corridor of power, they should stop all this thing. They should stop using this party by trade by barter. That is one thing. First of all, they should be sincere in their approach to reconciliation. The likes of Saraki have said, reconcile this party, let's come to reconciliation. These people time have a laugh. Let the Caretaker Committee set us so that we can properly put everybody together and be on the same pedestal. Let everything, all the litigations in court, let everybody stay out of court. Let's finish all the congresses in the various states. Let every zone be carried out. You cannot marginalize some certain people because you are angry with them. It's not done. Look at the so-called end of year party that they did. Because of the people you are angry with, you dissolve the exco in their state and in their zone because you don't want them. How do you want peace to come to the party? So if former NLS can be sincere with the Makinde fashion, it should tell them that, look, for us to actually move this party forward, if we want peace to reign, there's a need for you to allow the start. If you say this country should remain the same, it shows that let the end of the EC led by INEC maintain the structure to the tenure have a laugh and let the Caretaker Committee take over the affairs of the party and conduct a proper convention, ensuring that congresses are done, states that are having issues have been reconciled, all the litigations in court have been withdrawn. That is the only way people can in that party. You cannot put stand in my hand, get my 2 legs, and tell me to run, and I say, I will not let that happen. I will not sit, if I tell you what it did, what is going on in that party, we don't want to let many things out of the box. They think they can do some things and go scot-free. You start to telling people because they are not in alignment with your atrocity. When the time comes, some people more you don't know what is coming ahead.
All right, Mr. Andrew, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're out of time. We'll just pass the time to Mr. Jacob. Please, you just have 1 minute, just to tell us what the way forward is for you. Way forward as we look to wrap up.
The BOT exists, the NEC exists. Anybody who has any grievance has a duty to go and ventilate his grievances through the proper organs of the party. Nobody should take the law into his hands. Nobody again can threaten anybody. You are saying, one young man is saying that we don't know what is coming. There is nothing you can threaten us with. The law is there. We have a national leadership in place, properly put in place by the highest decision-making body, organ of the party. And nobody is going to shut out. We insist that if you have grievances, and the courts have also said that when you have grievances, you must ventilate your grievances within the party structures. You can't go out. You can't even go to court. Those grievances are internal. If you were shortchanged in any meeting, you have a right to go to the organs of the party and complain and insist that the organs of the party address those grievances. You don't run amok and threaten people and use self-help to accentuate your grievances. It doesn't happen. That is not part of civilized democracy. That is part of brigandage. It should not be allowed in Nigeria's democracy.
Thank you so much for your time. I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for speaking with us, and thank you for availing yourselves to speak with us this morning on this nagging issue concerning the PDP. We look forward to have you again, maybe separately or together. We do not know, but time will tell. But thanks. Thank you so much for joining us, and do have a wonderful day.